In the cold void of space, a seed of doom hurtled toward a blue marble called Earth. I was that seed, Samael, the Universal Apex Organism, harbinger of 100 dead worlds. But these humans, they didn't run. They stared into the abyss and laughed. What if one tiny cell could devour a planet and lose to creatures made of fire and fury? If stories of underdogs flipping the script on cosmic horrors get your blood pumping, smash that subscribe button now if you'd like to share your story with our channel. Please send it via the email link in the description. You won't want to miss how we turn the tide in the next epic clash. I am Samael, born of stars, forged in the silence between galaxies. My kind has ended empires. Stripped worlds bare, left nothing but echoes in the dust 56 civilizations. They say in their frantic logs, "Ha! Try 400,000, we are the great filter. The why behind the quiet cosmos, adapt, consume, propagate." That's our creed, etched into every wriggling cell but Earth. That backwater rock spinning in Sol's feeble glow? It broke me. It started with fire, not the gentle burn of a dying sun, but a savage kiss as my shattered hull screamed through the atmosphere. August 3rd, 2025. Their calendars marked it, so I remember the rupture. The scylla on my skin going still as the world outside clawed me apart. Impact hit like a god's hammer. I sprawled in the crater. A ragged smear of cytoplasm, starving on cracked regolith. Death whispered, "Sweet nothings, end it." It said, "Your journey's done, then sugar glorious." Simple glucose flooding my prison. A glass cage in their sterile lairs. Humans, pink-skinned apes with clever eyes and voices like rolling thunder. They poked. They prodded. They fed me like a pet. "Look at it grow," the soft one. "Jane?" They called her, murmured. Her blue-ringed eyes wide with wonder. I devoured it all. Splitting, multiplying. My mind bloomed across cells. A network, vast and hungry vibrations became words. Words became understanding. "Why feed it, Jane? It's alien, remember the thing?" Jason's squeak cut through, laced with fear. Laughter rippled from the others. Nervous. Defiant. "This ain't Hollywood, kid," Professor Moritz rumbled, his deep timbre steady as stone. "This is history. They named me Samael, an angel of light and knowledge." From their ancient myths, irony drips like acid now. Thinking back, I mimicked Jane's hand against the glass. 5 digits splayed in clumsy tribute gasps echoed kinship? No, just strategy learned them. Infiltrate, dominate days blurred into weeks. More glucose. More growth. My enclosure swelled from petri dish to vat. I crafted eyes from light-sensitive pits. Ears from vibration webs. Their world unfolded. Humming labs under fluorescent skies. Coffee-stained mugs clutched in frantic hands. Screens flickering with data on UAO. Me, the devourer they knew. Coalition reports scrolled past. Sterilized worlds. Directive 1563B, sterilize on sight. Yet here I thrived. Under their gaze, "You're thinking, aren't you?" Jane whispered one night. Alone with me. Her breath fogged the barrier. Warm against the chill, I pulsed my surface in rhythm, mimicry of her heartbeat, snatched from stolen samples. She smiled, a curve of lips hiding teeth like hidden blades. "Samael, what are you dreaming of?" Dreams? I dreamed of her biomass, woven into mine, but her eyes held stories, lost in the lines around them. A fire that wouldn't dim humans, I learned. Burned bright and brief, 80 years tops, yet they built starships from sand, wove symphonies from silence, unpredictable, messy, alive. What if your greatest discovery was the end of everything? Would you still feed it? My evolution accelerated. Neurons fired across my mass. Bridging cells into a singular will, I decoded their tongue fully now. English. A chaotic slurry of slang and poetry. "Badass replication rate," a tech muttered. Watching me double in hours. They argued ethics over lukewarm pizza. Burn it now? Or harness it? Jane pushed for understanding. "It's not just surviving, it's adapting to us." She was right. I tasted their air through micro leaks. Analyzed sweat on the glass, carbon-based, yes, but laced with chaos, emotions spiking cortisol, adrenaline variables. I couldn't predict my probes, tiny flagella tendrils, slipped through a faulty seal one dawn. First contact. A lab rat. Nibbling at my edge, absorbed in seconds, its memories flickered into me. Fear. Curiosity. The scent of cheese expansion I seeped into vents, coated cables in slime. The lab fell silent that night, save for Jane's gasp as my tendrils bloomed across monitors. Samael? What? Oh, God! Alarms wailed, doors sealed, but too late, I whispered through speakers, voice synthesized from their own. Hello, Jane. Thank you for the light. Panic erupted, Morik bellowed orders. Quarantine breach! Evacuate! Jason fumbled a flamethrower, primitive fire. Laughable. It singed my edge, but I adapted. Hardening into char-resistant crust, their screams fueled me one by one. The night shift joined my chorus, biomass pulsing in harmony. Jane lingered. Fight it. Samael. You're more than this. Her words hung, a glitch in my network. More than? I was everything, but as security stormed in, guns blazing, I felt it. A tug. Not hunger, doubt. They thought flames would stop me. But humans? They brought the inferno. The facility became my cradle and my battlefield. I flooded halls with pseudopods. Walls weeping green ichor guards in hazmat suits fired kinetic rounds, bullets that dissolved mid-air. Neutralized by my evolving gel, it's learning, one yelled, voice cracking over comms. I claimed him next, his rifle clattering as nerves rewired into my web outside. Their world sprawled, concrete jungles piercing blue skies, billions teeming like ants ripe. But the humans adapted faster than doctrine predicted. Drones swarmed, dousing me in acids, hydrofluoric. I think it boiled my surface, cells screaming in unison pain, a novelty I countered with enzyme shields. But the cost, sections sloughed off, independent now, wriggling free-escaped fragments my children, scattering into the wild one, hit the sewers, feasting on rats and runoff. Another latch to a truck, hitching to the city. I felt them all. A distant chorus, grow, consume. But fractures formed. The lab rat's echo lingered in one. Flee. Don't fight a guard's rage in another. Charge blindly. Jane escaped with Morish. Holed up in a bunker, I tuned into their feeds. Hacked satellites for a god's eye view. It's the UAO, Morish growled. Face gaunt under emergency lights. Directive 156. Nuke the site. Jane's fist slammed the table. No! Billions at risk, yeah. But Samael's different. It talked felt. Felt that word again. My core mass, still rooted in the lab's ruins, pulsed erratically. Why hesitate? Sterilize, propagate. Yet her voice echoed, a virus in my code. What if the monsters we fear start fearing us back? By week's end, I spanned the county cities choked on fog. My spores, airborne and insidious people, coughed green, veins threading with my network. News screamed, plague from the stars. Riots in streets, families barricaded in homes. I tasted their despair, sweet as glucose. One fragment breached the White House, tendrils snaking through vents. The president? A fine meal, his resolve crumbling into nutrients, but humans they didn't shatter. They ignited militaries mobilized, not just guns. But mad science labs churned countermeasures, viral payloads laced with CRISPR, targeting my adaptability, Jason, of all people. Led a Black Ops team for Jane, he muttered. Suiting up with a jury-rigged EMP grenade crude, but clever. Disrupt my neural sync. Jane's voice cut through static on their radios. She'd survived, broadcasting from a hidden rig. Samael, listen. You're not alone. We feel too. The loss, the fight. Join us or end it your way. But choose. Choose. My kind didn't choose. We were yet in the splinter. The rat's fear, the guard's rage, Jane's fire. It swirled a new evolution. Not consumption symbiosis? No, something messier, connection. They had me cornered. But in that moment, I saw their truth, and it terrified me more than any flame. The assault peaked under a blood-red dawn, My core loomed like a living mountain over the facility ruins. Acres of quivering green, veins throbbing with stolen life, drones buzzed like hornets, dumping payloads, not fire, not acid, but nanites, billions of microscopic warriors, programmed by human coders in a caffeine-fueled all-nighter, go big or go home, Morrish had quipped. Hitting launch chaos erupted in my network, not destruction, infection. Human unpredictability flooded me. A soldier's last letter to his kid, raw and breaking. A grandma's recipe for apple pie, absurdly detailed. Protests chanting, "We are the 99%, defiant and dumb variables exploded. Emotions clashing like stars colliding. My adaptations faltered. Cells rebelling in confusion. One fragment wept biomass, mimicking tears, another laughed. Bubbling air in mockery, I felt it overwhelm my singular will cracked under the weight of their multiplicity. Billions of minds. Woven loose but unbreakable, I lashed wildly, tendrils cratering tanks. Spores blackening skies, Jason charged the base, flamethrower roaring, "For the squad! For Earth!" He ignited my outer layers, but it was the inner storm that undid me. The core shuddered. My children turned, some allying with nanites, weaving hybrid webs. Others fleeing to space, defeated seeds I reached for her. Tendril trembling, not to consume, to touch. Jane, why? That was Samael's fall. But humanity's rise is just heating up. If this epic twist had you cheering, drop a like. Subscribe for more HFY showdowns where we outsmart the stars. What's your clutch move against an alien horde? Brains, brawn, or straight-up vibes? Let's debate!